Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word, and yes, it is launch season at last. Earlier this evening, McLaren pulled the covers, metaphorically, off the MCL35M during an online event at their headquarters in Woking. And just on the event, for anybody that's wondering, it was pretty much just interviewing Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. They made some kind of song, music thing, and then they talked to the team bosses, Zach Brown and Andreas Seidel, briefly. Nothing spectacular. I wasn't expecting like we saw Ferrari last year with the acrobats and that during these COVID times. But I've got to be honest, it was so good just to see the drivers again, Daniel Ricciardo looking very good in orange, and just to start being able to get a little bit hyped for this 2021 season. And in this video, as with every season, I'm essentially going to react to what we've seen tonight, which quite frankly isn't a massive amount, at least not on the surface. But I'm sure there are plenty of you out there with much techier minds than I've got that will point out loads that's different. But anyway, let's have a look at the car. This is the MCL35, and the first thing I want to point out, I'm not going to go all technical or try and do that stupid spot the difference I've been doing over the last few years. It's a bit cringe, to be honest. And I'd much rather just get a little bit too excited over a slightly different paint job, if we can say that. But one thing definitely worth pointing out is that this year's McLaren will probably be the most radically different when it comes to its bodywork and things like that, because they've had to obviously fit the Mercedes power unit in. But I just want to do a quick side-by-side of the new floor that we're going to see on most of the cars this year and McLaren's interpretation of that. So at the top there, you can see the MCL35 from last year, the 2020 car. And then if you look at the floor on the MCL35M, the one we saw tonight, it is so much more simple. We've not got all of those slots and whatnot down there. And you can just see the way that it sort of tapers in and gets slimmer towards the rear. That's part of the new rules package that is designed to reduce downforce by 10% for this season. But it's also worth noting, whilst we're looking at the top down, just how much slimmer that car gets around the side pods and towards the back this year. There are a few other areas you can see there on the front view. The nose is slightly different this year. The airbox has got a different design. But there's not a huge amount of point going through all of this and circling things and putting lines on it, because this is only the launch spec car and there will be changes come testing, guaranteed. Livery-wise, it's, basically the same as last year, which, to be honest, I really liked last year's McLaren livery in the end. And the papaya and blue, I know a lot of people really wanted to see a return of the silver, maybe even chrome, like the Vodafone McLaren Mercedes days. But that papaya and blue has become the team's identity, and I kind of like that. You've got Ferrari, they've got their red. Mercedes obviously racing in black at the moment, but they've had silver for many years. And so I like that you see an orange or papaya car and think McLaren. That makes sense to me. I don't know if it does to anybody else, but it does to me. So I guess what I'm saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The team did also tonight release a few shots of the drivers' helmets for this year, and Daniel Ricciardo's is beautiful. I just love that he does something completely different to everybody else most years now. It's a fantastic design. Not that Lando Norris's isn't a good design, but I love Daniel Ricciardo's. And just on the drivers and interviews and things like that, I'm not going to go through the press release. It's basically very excited for the new season. Can't wait to get back in the car, and we're hoping for a good 2021. It's that kind of thing, the same thing we're going to get for pretty much every single launch. Actually, in terms of driver interviews, there is one thing I do need to pick out very quickly. And I don't think this was common knowledge until today. I've not seen any news articles on it. But this evening, Daniel Ricciardo revealed he did sign a 3-year deal with McLaren. So he's there for a few years yet. But I will just say a few things about their 2021 season. And I know I said some of this over the weekend in my predictions videos. But I do find McLaren really fascinating this year. The team had a really strong season last time out. And snatching third in the Constructors, despite arguably having a slower car than Racing Point, was a fantastic way to round it all off. And I do, much to the frustration, maybe, of some people in the comments to those videos, I do honestly think they will be just as strong as they were in 2020. Yeah, I know there is a lot of, and rightly, a lot of skepticism around how good they will actually be because of any potential sacrifice they've had to make in getting that Mercedes power unit integrated. But given the work they did towards the back end of last year to rush through updates and test stuff out in anticipation of sacrificing development tokens to fit in the power unit, updates that, of course, they will be carrying over to this year, I genuinely do not see this season being the disaster that some are predicting. But ultimately, whatever you believe on that front, they are definitely a team to keep a very close eye on this year, one way or another. What do we think will be a good season for them this year? You can let me know what you think in the comments section. They're obviously going to be targeting P3. The problem for them is so are 3 other teams, and it's going to be so close in that midfield. And the fight could even go down to the wire again, which is fine by me. But for argument's sake, let's say that they do suffer with the new power unit integration. I reckon top 5 minimum would be a good result, even though it is 2 positions worse than last year. But as I've said, probably 50 times, that's an exaggeration, over the last 3 days, that midfield will be incredibly close. And if McLaren do end up being further off the pace than expected, so long as they keep themselves in the running in some way, and perhaps capitalise on any mistakes or problems for those ahead, they could still sneak in and take 3rd spot. It's not impossible by any stretch. Overall though, and to summarise my completely random ramblings, there is no scripting for this, it is all waffle, as you can probably tell. I think it's a really nice, clean, good-looking car, very much like last year's. And I just can't wait to see it out there on track. I mean, I can't wait to see any of them on track. But we have our first launch in the bag, and F1 2021 is just that one step closer. That is it, though, for this livery reveal launch reaction thing video. I'll come up with something maybe shorter and catchier than that for the next one, but you can let me know your thoughts on the MCL35M down in the comments section. And if you haven't already in one of the predictions videos, do let me know how you think McLaren will get on this season. Now, I will be back with some more content soon, and the next scheduled launch is on Friday, where we'll get our first look at this year's AlphaTauri. In the meantime, though, if you did enjoy my random ramblings, then please do drop a like on this video. It really helps out the channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.